Hello, and welcome back to Season 2 of the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about discovering new music with good people. I'm Ryan, and joining me this episode is Auzi from the Boston post-emo band Indigo North. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. It is a wonderful Monday night, and we've got some good people to listen to some new music with.
Excellent.
So do you want to, before we get into anything else, introduce yourself a little bit better, talk about your band, talk about yourself, and just kind of what you guys are all about?
Yeah, so I'm Auzi, pick whatever one you want to pick. I sing for Indigo North. I write all of the music for Indigo North. I record all the music for Indigo North in this room. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a tight schedule here. We are, pretty post-hardcore emo, almost metalcore out there. Basically just like old-style emo bands with breakdowns. And we're all just about, being positive.
Yeah.
Writing sad lyrics, but for people who can relate, I guess.
So that was something that I actually noticed when I was listening to some of your tunes here, getting ready for this, is when you were featured a couple episodes ago, we listened to the song Focus off of your first album, Under the Weather.
Yeah.
And listening through that album and then your most recent EP, The Process of Falling Apart, I've noticed that it seems like there's a bit of a tone shift. You started out a bit lighter, not super light. Obviously, you still had the unclean vocals and stuff like that. But like especially Focus, which was my first introduction to you guys, it seemed like kind of pop punk with a bit of like a little bit of post-hardcore tinge to it. But it seems like on the new release, you guys have really leaned into the post-hardcore part of that. So is that something that you did intentionally? Is that kind of what you've always been after, or is that just a natural progression for you guys?
I think we originally planned on moving heavier, mainly because our old vocalist was like, we want to scream more. I was like, hey, I like that anyway. I'm used to writing more of a metal-oriented style.
Sure.
A more metal hardcore. So, yeah, when we moved to that, and then he left the band,
okay,
because I originally sang for it. So, yeah, I pushed very hard for more yells after that. So it just got more grindy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for sure. I also noticed, could be completely off base, but I noticed that it was released on April 1st. Did you guys choose April Fool's Day for a reason, or was that just kind of happenstance?
I was so tired of waiting to put out the EP because so initially we had written the EP and it was 3 songs. It was just going to be called The Process of Falling Apart, with our song Storm Chaser, our song Blur, and then our song Like Comes to Cages. And it was going to be like a 3-piece music video thing. Then our vocalist left, and I had to redo everything. I wrote like 3 extra songs or whatever, which was like Hush, Vice, and The Process of Falling Apart, which was like the title track. And I just remember being like, I am not sitting on this for any longer than we have to. I have this stuff recorded. Let's get it out. We set it for publishing like 4 days before it was going to be on April 13th, which is my birthday.
Okay.
And then they were like, yeah, it's actually ready to go up way earlier on all the streaming services. They were just waiting for us to basically click a button to post it.
Oh, sick.
And it just happened to be April 1st, and I was like, wouldn't it be really awful of us to just release an entire album on April 1st?
Everybody thinks it's not even a real thing, and so it gets
exactly
no streams.
What happened. In hindsight, I was like, man, that absolutely destroyed our draw and exposure, but at the same time, now I think people realize, there actually is a lot more than just this music video you posted that you made in your basement day of.
Well, and now you've given me content, so I appreciate that.
Of course.
And then one other thing that I noticed, and this could spawn some interesting conversation, and it could not. I noticed that the first record was 7 songs, and it was labeled as an album. This one is 6 songs, and it's labeled as an EP. To you, in the streaming age, is there that much of a discrepancy between like albums and EPs? Because I have some thoughts, but I'm curious to know your thoughts first.
I would say, personally, if it wasn't just like an arbitrary thing that they put, anything over 6 songs is considered an album. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind it at all. But yeah, it was really weird noticing that, because I've been calling it, the Under the Weather EP, our first EP, forever. And Spotify was like, no, this is a full-length album.
This is an album,
Which I would say is like, I don't know, 10 songs and up, personally.
Mm-hmm. I feel like 6 and 7 is like right on that threshold for me.
Yeah.
Like if I were to see an 8-song release, I'm like, that's definitely an album. If I see
I would say that's more of like an album for sure.
Yeah. If I see like 6 or 7, I'm like, it depends on how long the songs are.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, originally it was all very hardware based because it was like an album is a full LP record that is 45 minutes or whatever. And then you had an EP. I actually did research on this today because I wanted to talk about this. An EP was actually originally 15 minutes or less. And so that like half hour mark is almost like it didn't exist because it was like you either wanted to fill up your entire 45 minutes or you would, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets down to technical like definitions, definitely an album. But I think modern day, you would say, like, here's a single, here's a demo, here's an EP, here's an LP. And, like, I don't really know any logistics of it at all. I post the music. The companies label it. I'm fine with whatever.
And that's fair enough. You know, it doesn't have to be any deeper than that. But, you know, I was curious if there happened to be some sort of, you know, mental philosophy there that we could unpack.
Not that I know of, that's for sure.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been referring to both as EPs. So whatever, whatever they want to call it, go for it.
Is there anything else that you want to mention about the record, or anything that you want to anything else that you want to plug before we hop into the meat of this podcast here?
I think just that we only put out the one single, which is like the title track, "The Process of Falling Apart," but there are technically 2 more that will be released before I can comfortably release more music, which we have set up for 2 pretty long like releases.
Awesome.
So I guess just keep an eye out for 2 music.
I will look forward to it. Yeah, I will definitely whenever you guys post about it or whatever, I will definitely be reposting that shit.
Sounds good, thank you.
So getting into the meat of this show, my first song that I want to show off is a pop punk / easycore band from Nashville, Tennessee. Now, these guys I discovered on TikTok. I forget exactly how, whether they like liked one of my videos or I found one of their videos or whatever. But over the past like month and a half, we've kind of like, you know, gotten kind of friendly on TikTok and started liking and commenting on each other's videos all the time and stuff like that. And then I found out when I posted something on Instagram that friends of the podcast Ghost Town Remedy, who are also a Nashville-based band, are friends with these guys. So it's like,
that's cool.
Yeah. And so it's kind of cool to see, you know, this scene kind of growing and, you know, becoming a part of that. But this is their song that is called Good Times. The band is called No, This Is Patrick. Great SpongeBob reference there. And this is the first single off of their upcoming album that's supposed to come out later this year.